Hello my friends, good to see you again, and today we are going to be looking at diets, especially diets of the rich and famous, not to insult them and not to get on top of them, but just to reiterate, as I like to do on my channel a lot. I know it's a bit annoying, that when you do read this stuff, you should do it with a massive pinch of salt. In fact, you should take your face and go right into the salt. As a weird thing to do. Because this article came up today on Lad Bible of all things, and it says Chris Hemsworth chef exposes star's unbelievable diet. Now, I love how these things are written. Exposes. It's like when somebody speaks after a little while of not speaking, they break their silence. What do you mean? They're probably just having a bath or something. Anyway, the point is this. Chris Hemsworth, personal chef, has shared some of the secrets behind the Thor star diet and how he keeps himself in such great shape while still eating well. I love how the secrets. It's not a secret. I don't think he was deliberately keeping it from us, but whatever. Sergio Pereira is the man who makes the meals for the Marvel star, and he explained to news.co.au, when you're training to build Thor-worthy muscles, you need to eat well. Or, if you just want to be healthy, eat well. So it doesn't happen by accident, that's for sure. Just for some people, damn genetics. Pereira is more than just Hemsworth's chef. Obviously, he's a human. He's celebrated in his field and has been Michelin trained. I can never pronounce that word. So he knows his way around a healthy and delicious meal. If you're not Michelin trained, how do you know how to cook pasta? For the past 10 years, he's been helping out with Hemsworth Health ever since the A-lister's wife, Elsa Patakai, called him up and asked him to work with him. Now, I want you to keep that in mind for the past 10 years. The Spanish-born chef said he had just finished the first Thor movie and he needed someone to help match his meal plan to his physical demands, and that's how I came on board. I would sit with his trainer, who is one of his closest friends, and we would work together on figuring out Chris's goals. Over the years, he's helped Chris shed pounds, as well as pile on the bulk for different roles, and obviously he tailors each one for what they need. That's just called a project. So he has shared some of the secrets, including Hemsworth's love of good quality beef. Obviously, the guy is a big boy. It's so much needless information. He requires a lot of protein for the body he has. We know all of this. When it comes to building muscle, he likes to keep it very clean with barbecuing, meats and vegetables, and keeping it Mediterranean, which involves a lot of olive oil. Again, don't use too much, but it is healthy fats. As part of his diet, Hemsworth doesn't eat anything boxed or canned and eats loads of greens as well as drinking a load of water. Pereira said, one thing I did religiously with him was every single day, he would have one very large, hearty salad that consisted of raw and cooked vegetables, fermented products, nuts, seeds, and a lot of good fats, with a piece of steaks or a big piece of fish. During filming for Avengers, Chris had a diet of mostly red meat, eating only during daylight hours, because red meat requires more energy to digest. I wouldn't massively worry about that, but you do you. As for the mornings, he would eat a load of greens, have a big healthy smoothie, and a bit of salt for good measure. He'd also have a protein snack, like a yogurt with seeds and berries, or some fried eggs on breads with Vegemite and avocado. Always avocado. There would then be more protein in the form of steak and veggies at 2:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. before our last meal of the day around 7, featuring white fish, large amounts of vegetables, and a green salad. That is 6 meals a day, all crammed into daylight hours. And then some other stuff that we don't need to talk about for this video. And Sergio said that he has loved working with Chris, especially on his fitness app. I went there thinking I was only going to be there a few months, and I ended up staying. Now, here's the interesting bit in the part of this video. Literally right under this, because of course all websites never want you to leave, there is another article from April. The one we just talked about came out yesterday, and there's another one from April, so 6 months ago, whatever. Chris Hemsworth's chef reveals the incredible diet he was put on to become Thor. And you start reading it, and it says, Hemsworth's chef Dan Churchill. Now, straight away, you're like, wait a minute, you just told me Sergio worked for him for 10 years. Now, I'm not saying he can't have two chefs. It's perfectly fine. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm sure there's some truth to it. But watch this. Churchill told the Daily Mail that the Aussie star would consume 4,500 calories a day for his training. Well, what you just told me in his other diet is no way 4,500 calories, unless secretly you were sneaking some cheese in there. Churchill would break down those 4,500 calories into 10 meals. They just told us 6, and they would consist of steak, okay, that's kind of similar, rice-based dishes, rice was never mentioned, nor were any kind of carbs in the first article, broccoli, chicken, and banana, and protein shakes. Chris is an unbelievable ambassador, and I'm so blessed to work with him. Yeah, seems like a really good guy. He said Hemsworth has a lot of discipline when he puts on a diet and training regime, and he also has to sacrifice taste and flavor to get the job done. Shouldn't say stuff like that. That's not true. You can eat perfectly healthy and have perfectly good muscle-building meals that also taste really nice, right? You do not have to go totally crazy with this, even if you want to be damn Thor. He then talks about salt and blitzing down tofu if you're lactose intolerant, which I am, by the way. But we don't need to worry about that. But can you see what's happened here? Now, of course, it's the algorithm that has pushed those two articles together, because it's about Chris Hemsworth, and it's about what Chris Hemsworth eat. And as I've seen here on the channel, when you do talk about Thor and the gym potential, people go absolutely nuts. But that's why you kind of have to just ignore it. right now, look, if you can extrapolate and take little bits of information out there that you can apply to your own diet and your own gym sessions that actually work for you, great. But ultimately, we don't know what he's eating. We don't know what he's doing. We don't know how he's training. You're only ever going to get a small idea of what's going on unless somebody actually sits down and does a proper breakdown of the thing. And even if you took the first one as read, well, then you read the second one and you're going to be massively confused. Why? Including videos like my own. I'm not kidding. I'm talking everybody here. Just use it as A, a piece of entertainment, and B, watch through it or read through it and go, okay, well, that sounds kind of cool. I'll put that in. But that sounds like absolutely baloney because I've tried that before, and do not go back to it because everybody is different. But here, he's eating carbs. He's not eating carbs. He's eating chicken. He's not eating chicken. Red meat seems to be the one. He's having 6 meals a day. He's having 10 meals a day. He's only eating when it's light out because he's a vampire, because he won't eat at night. Like, there's just so much confusion, I suppose, and so much conflicting reports. And I would bet if you actually went through it, it probably all ties into some kind of promotion or some kind of movie they're trying to get out there. And that's perfectly fine. That's the world we live in. But it just is needed, I would say, that somebody, even if it's a bored idiot like me, comes on and just reminds you that we don't actually know. It's all grey area, and it's all going to steer you down the wrong path, and it's all just going to make you go totally crazy as long as you do approach it as intended. It's entertainment first and foremost, and maybe there's a little bit of education after the fact too. And look, I've just typed in Chris Hemsworth diet, and here's another one, apparently, that Chris Hemsworth said out loud. It's obviously very high in protein. I ate 6 times a day, so we're back to 6. With the months leading up to the shoot and during filming, I'm basically overfooding myself on protein and endless amounts of chicken breast, eggs, steak, fish, vegetables, tuna, avocado, cottage cheese, and brown rice. Never heard about cottage cheese before. Also, it's probably better to eat white rice. I've done a video on about it. We're not going to do it again. That said, we've tried to cut down about animal protein and introduce more legumes and certain grains as a result of being more mindful about the environment. Now, this one actually does refer to Sergio Pereira, who is the chef apparently that also works on the Center app, which we just talked about. And again, this is what we've got. I don't really think it ties in. Maybe it ties in a little bit. Green powder shake with protein, bowl of yogurt. I guess that does tie in. Post-workout shake with vegetable protein, ice water, BCAAs, and 1 gram of vitamin C. And then it's grilled chicken with crispy sweet potato. That was never mentioned. 2 rice crackers with Vegemite. That was the white fish with mushrooms and raw broccoli. And then some yogurt. So once again, he said about eating red meat, there's not one... There's not one red meat in there. Although we also have a day 2. Day 2 is the same as day 1, essentially. And then that's the same. Yeah, oh no, on Wednesday, he does have a beef fillet, to be fair. But you see how confusing this can be. So everyone goes, I want to look like Chris Hemsworth. I want to look like Thor. I'm going to get this information. I'm going to copy and paste it across. It doesn't work, and then you're a sad panda. Stick to what you know. Stick to the basics. Just train hard. Eat the foods that you know are healthy, and understand that if you're not headed in the right direction, sure, you got to chop and change a little bit. Maybe in the gym, maybe outside of the gym. But this stuff takes a long ass time. If you are Chris Hemsworth, and more power to him, he's worked for it. You're going to have trainers, as we've seen, multiple of them. You're going to have the time, and you're going to have the money. We do not have that kind of luxury, so we almost have to balance it with life. Both are perfectly doable and both are perfectly fine. But do not beat yourself up and do not go crazy with this stuff, because that's where you will end up, just in the corner, crying your eyes out because you don't understand what to do anymore. Also, please do make sure to have this kind of conversation in the comments below, because there may be somebody that has some good information that can help you. But otherwise, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell ding ding so you know when other videos are going live. Click the video on the screen in order to make YouTube happy, and hopefully yourself as well. Also, GorillaMind.com/Simon. These are the supplements that I use and I'm genuinely happy to pimp out, because again, I do believe in them. Their pre-workout especially is Fabu, both stimulated and non-stimulated. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter, patreon.com/Simon316 on Cameo, Simon Miller, merchandise, pro wrestling tees, and Samson Athletics. It's all in the description below there. Just want to underline, big fan of Chris Hemsworth, big fan of the Avengers movies. Even the last Thor movie, which everybody hates, I thought it was funny, because again, one day I'm going to be dead. So I look for the positive in things. I also want you to be training well, and you to be training smart, and for you to be training happy. That's the one message I would like everybody to take away from my videos. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, probably go try something else. See you soon.